deserted streets of the city. The sound of raindrops hitting the ground and the distant thunder were his only companions on this terrifying night. Shivering from the cold, Amir was looking for a shelter to protect himself from the rain for a moment. Suddenly, his eyes caught an old and abandoned house right by the street. Its wooden door was half open, and its broken windows emitted a faint light. With hesitation, yet hoping to get warm, Amir entered the house. The air inside was heavy and damp, and the smell of mold and decay was noticeable. He moved forward into the house with cautious steps, and as he penetrated deeper into the house, stranger and stranger sounds reached his ears. The sound of footsteps that seemed to follow him from behind. The sound of faint and distant moans that grew louder with each moment. Amir, now with fear and terror in his eyes, was looking for the source of these sounds. As time passed, he reached a room where the light of a candle flickered. Inside the room, there was a strange and unnatural statue that changed its shape and appearance with each glance. Amir's gaze was fixed on the statue, and he felt as if its cold and lifeless eyes were staring into the darkest depths of his soul. Amir, now trembling all over, he decided to continue exploring the house. He cautiously stepped onto the creaking stairs leading down to the basement and descended into the unknown darkness. With each step he took, the creaking of the stairs and the indistinct murmurs grew louder. The air in the basement was cold and damp, and its stone walls were covered with green moss. Amir reached a room where an old lamp was lit. On a wooden table there was a notebook with yellowed and worn pages. With trembling hands, he began to flip through the pages and realized that the notebook was filled with strange and disturbing writings. The writings told of dark and forgotten rituals that had been performed in this very house. Suddenly, the sound of the main door's lock being turned was heard, and Amir had realized through that notebook that this old house was a place for a cult that summoned various demons. The writings indicated that this cult sought to open a gateway to a dark and unknown world, and their ceremonies involved sacrificing animals and sometimes humans. Amir, now experiencing deep anxiety and fear, remembered that the pages of the notebook contained different names of demons and the spells used to summon them. He recalled reading on one page, "Some of the demons that are summoned have not yet returned to their world and are hidden in corners of this house, waiting for a moment to return." As he read these lines, the sound of the main door's lock being turned stopped, and if you enjoyed it so far, please hit the subscribe button if you liked the video. Amir quickly turned towards the door, but at that moment the lights went out, and absolute darkness ruled over the house. Amir, now feeling an odd sense of dread, heard a deep and terrifying laugh echoing from the depths of the house. As time passed, the laughter grew louder and closer until Amir realized it was coming from behind him. When he turned around, he saw with his own eyes a demon that was horrifying and immense. The demon, named Tantal, was staring at Amir with a wide and mocking smile and said, "I am the cause of death for those who had summoned me and revered me." Amir, unable to control himself upon seeing the terrifying visage of the creature, fell to the ground and fainted. When he regained consciousness, he found himself on a bed in an unfamiliar house. Just then, an old man entered the room and said to Amir, "Hello, young man. You have finally come to. Are you feeling all right?" Amir replied, "Yes, but my heart is racing with fear." Then Amir asked, "What am I doing here?" The old man said, "I am the neighbor of that old house you entered, the cursed one." He continued, "I heard strange noises coming from there and thought to myself that perhaps another soul had fallen prey to that demonic creature When I entered the house, I found you unconscious on the floor. As I am a master of esoteric sciences, I scattered a substance on the ground that made the demon flee. Once the demon was gone, I carried you to my home. Amir thanked the old man and said, "I also feel a strange sensation." The old man explained, "That demon, whose name is Tantal, if it cannot kill its intended victim, leaves a curse on that person which weakens them. Now I must begin the ritual to break the curse." The old man started the ritual to break the curse, and the old man began to recite incantations that swirled in the air, and with each word that left his mouth, a light appeared in the room. Amir, still feeling strange, began to see images from his past, images that flashed through his mind, each telling a tale of a bitter and dark event. The old man's voice grew louder, and suddenly the room shook. Amir felt as if the ground beneath him was slipping away, and heard indistinct murmurs that seemed to come from afar. The old man shouted, "Tantal, I challenge you, leave this cleansed body and soul." With these words, a white light engulfed the entire room, and Amir felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted from his spirit. The old man looked at Amir with deep, tired breaths and said, "Now you are free. The curse is broken." Amir looked at the old man with wonder and gratitude and said, "How can I ever repay you?" The old man smiled and replied, "You are a young man who, with your courage and pure heart, managed to escape from this curse. All I ask of you is to follow your path and never let fear overcome you." Amir bowed his head in appreciation and embraced the old man. Then, with a lighter heart and a freed spirit, he left the old man's house and headed towards his own home. Along the way, he felt the light within him grow brighter, and with each step, his confidence increased. And so it was that Amir, with a pure heart and a free spirit, returned to his normal life and never again set foot in that cursed house.